Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Good to have you on board. Busy hour coming up, including a look at the playoff action that we have tonight and this weekend. Also, Chad Andrus joins the program from Denver. His thoughts overall on Game 3 tonight between the Nuggets and the Thunder. And, Pauly, we have baseball games starting this hour, one of which is a major Malinsky special. Again, for those who don't know, it's when a team, basically in any sport, but we like to look at it with baseball because they can go on these 10-day road trips where they might not have a day off, and they play 10 games or 9 games in 9 days or whatever it is, and then they come back home with no days off, and it's a good spot to maybe, hey, look, they just got in late last night, they're with their kids, they have their wives, whatever, now they got to go play a game the next day. It's always something to maybe consider with the handicap. Tonight, it's the ultimate Malinsky special, as the Tigers have been on the road since April 28th, and they played a doubleheader yesterday at Coors Field, got in late last night. Rangers played a day game in Boston, then a short flight over to Detroit. The counter to this is it's Patrick Corbin going for Texas, who actually hasn't been awful this year, but I think regression is coming based on his numbers. And then it's Tarik Skubal going today, who has basically better numbers or similar numbers to last year at this point when he won the Cy Young.
What a story. Best team in the American League. Tied with the Dodgers for the best record. They have the third best record since April 9th. I mentioned what Torkelson and Baez have been doing as they continue to rake as well. Our guy Keith went deep yesterday at 5-1. Why not come back with him? He's in a nice groove right now for Detroit. So the other thing, it's like, okay, well, the Brett Boone thing worked out for one game, and then they went back to getting shut out and shut down by the Red Sox. So it's $1.30 on the run line.
Can you
Detroit.
make it?
Skubal's fine. I mean, he was already there.
No, that's the thing. He's fine.
Yeah.
What about the other part of the team? The part that has to go up there and hit.
Yeah. I mean, they might rack Corbin around early, and they're just...
Okay, so you have...
Yeah.
I'm just...
No issues with
I want to
it.
go contrarian here for a second, or play the Malinsky special. Would you have no interest in you from grabbing like the Rangers plus a half run in the first 5 or 1.5 runs for the game?
No. Number 1 in run differential. Okay. 25-13. This team's the real deal. And Texas might not get anything off Skubal. Not concerned about it.
Oh, I hope you're right, because I have the Tigers for most wins in May. Pretty good start so far. But your team, the Royals, I think they're 7-1?
Yeah. So now we got a bad schedule too, but that was part of the handicap. Like the over tonight, 9, and now we got some drama here with Devers. I'm not going to go play first base. I'm a DH. He did the Bregman stuff with me. So they've been a big disappointment. But I should be in Witt, all about the Witt props tonight, and also could see a lot of runs with Lorenzen against Dobbins here at 4:40 Pacific.
Devers basically pinned this all on the GM.
Yeah, stop asking me to move around.
He's like, do you know how difficult it is to play more positions? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we also know about a plethora of other people who have gladly played like multiple positions in the same game, let alone like the same year. So you're looking at the over in that game?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Your angle here about getting in late, that would be the Phillies, who had the long game in Tampa, down 5-1 in the 8th. They're playing good ball. They swept Tampa. They've won 9 of 11. Their bullpen's horrendous, though, but they got in late, and it's Nola against Williams. Williams, where are my numbers? Horrible, bad ERA going back.
Yeah, he's not having a good year at all.
Yeah, he's been getting tuned up as well. So, and then Schwarber again, 44 in a row, 43 in a row with the on base, and I don't mind the Schwarber props either. 7.5. What am I missing with this one? 7.5, as bad as Nola's been, and Williams. There's the Phillies can rake.
Nola's ERA on the year is 4.61, but the FIP a little bit better than that, than 3.91. He's only made one start against the current Guardians lineup. Did not go very well for him in that game. Stephen Kwan was 3 for 3 with a home run. Carlos Santana was 2 for 4 with a home run and a double as well. More on Kwan. He's batting .440 with 2 doubles, 4 walks, and 5 runs scored in his last 6 games. So he is blistering hot, and he is on fire. And on Schwarber, you talked about as well. You typically don't find a number above like plus 350 to hit a home run.
Yeah.
But tonight, BetMGM had plus 450. I bet that. 406 on base this year, 7th overall among Major League Baseball qualifiers. 12 home runs, tied with Judge and Cal Raleigh for the most in baseball. He's an Ohioan, so an Ohio native. He made his MLB debut in Cleveland back in 2015. His first career home run also came at this park. The following day, helped the Cubs win the World Series there as well. And he's batting .333, .420, .583 with 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 14 runs in 16 career games at Progressive Field. That includes the 2016 World Series. But plus .450 is a number against a struggling pitcher like Gavin Williams. I had to take a little bit of that on Schwarber there.
There you go.
And I'll make a case here for a couple of other guys to hit a home run tonight as the Blue Jays take on the M's. So Kevin Gausman is going, who can be very good. He's had a couple of really, really good starts this year. However, he is a fly ball pitcher. We'll put it that way. Cal Raleigh against Gausman in his career. You talked about this 5 for 11. That's a .455 average with 3 home runs, a 21.5% barrel rate on the year, a 55.9% pull rate, and 37.6 of contact from him as a fly ball. 12 home runs, like I talked about, only 5 at home, but 9 of the 12 are against righties. Jorge Polanco, under the radar, awesome season. 9 home runs on the year, 7 at home, all 9 versus righties. Extremely good numbers overall. Exit velocity average is 92 miles an hour. 49.4% hard hit rate. The WOBA is above .450. The expected batting average is .360. The expected slugging is higher than .650. And a 17% barrel rate, 53+ % pull rate on the year, and 27% of his hits are fly balls. 30.1% of pitches are pulled by Gausman. That's not a high number, but I talked about the fly ball pitching acumen that he struts out to the mound every single time. So I played Cal Raleigh plus 325 for a home run tonight, and Jorge Polanco plus 410 for a home run in this game as well.
Like it. Yep. Got to get on those Freeman props, too, again, as we talked about. Total bases. What did you find something? Runs, hits?
I did. It's over 2.5 tonight.
Is it? Okay.
That's hits, runs, and RBIs combined.
I got a deep cut for you while you were away. Dane Myers, Marlins. Last 9 games, he's hitting .450 with 9 ribbies. They're playing the White Sox. He's plus 310 to have 2 hits. Is that what it was, Luke? 210 to have plus 310 to have 2 hits, and then over 2 bases is plus 170.
Over 2 total bases?
Yes.
Good. Get that hook out of there.
I got that, yeah. Hitting .450 the last 9 games.
Wow,
I'm going to give that a shot. Came across those numbers.
How did you approach Witt overall? Who's been scorching hot?
Oh, God, there's so much you can do,
well,
right?
The total bases are pumped up to 2.5 now.
It's kind of like a Ratnan question about like goals, assists, the multiple, right? But stolen base, over total bases, home run, which came in the other day as well. The same thing you did with Freeman, runs, hits, RBI, you can do.
You can also...
it's hard to because he checks all the boxes. There's so much... RBI 5 games in a row, 15 RBIs last 17, hitting .340, 10 extra base hits, had the bomb the other day as well, and he's been swiping bags. I mean, you can do it all here with all the Witt props.
Well, by the way, like you're doing tonight with the shots on goal props, you can also, if you'd like, have a little bit of fun and parlay the total bases over on guys that are red hot, like a Witt, an Ohtani, a Freeman.
Okay, so that'd be a Raleigh, that's a Witt, that's a Freeman, that's a Myers. And these have been unbelievable this week. These guys who are on hot streaks and own these pitchers, unbelievable. Yeah. The runs they're on. And a lot of guys are hitting doubles, triples, and home runs during this stretch. And then you also have the Judge angle going back home and to get out of the funk. Question is, do they pitch to him? That's the other thing, though. Do they pitch around him? But again, with the launching pad back home, 2 for his last 15, he could be in store for a big one tonight, a big performance.
Well, here's where I love Ohtani batting in leadoff. They have to pitch to the guy. You're not getting around him anytime. I mean, sometimes maybe throughout the game you will, but to lead off the game, not going to happen. Plus, you have these pitchers who are out there thinking to themselves, he's not going to get me tonight. And so I know his numbers are a little bit low, but for it to hit a home run, did it again last night in the 9th off a closer. Wanted to challenge him when it was a 3-2 count. Boom, yanked one. And then the Dodgers almost had something brewing there in that game. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you this one, too, because I'm on the Giants tonight.
Like it. Yeah,
a couple of reasons, right?
Hicks 6-1 to the over.
Oh, I don't like the way that sounds, but I think his numbers, by the way, are a little. It's time for some positive regression for Hicks. ERA is 6.03, but the xERA is 3.52, and the FIP is 3.43. He does not allow many home runs, but he walks too many batters. So there's that. The Giants are 21-5 against righties on the year, but they don't have amazing numbers against righties, which is weird. But the deal is here, Paddock is going tonight, and I think his numbers are very true because the ERA is 5.57 and the FIP is 5.52, and he strikes out fewer than 2 innings per 9 compared to Hicks, and Hicks is not a strong strikeout pitcher. And he also allows more walks. So at minus 105 earlier today, I had to bet the Giants in this game.
You want a Yurfie?
That game?
No, period. Plus 110 in the Astro game. Now, your guy's going, but Hunter Brown's allowed 5 runs in the first inning. And it's Martinez for the Reds. Oh. So I plus money, not bad.
Plus money there?
For
because
Yurfie.
Okay.
Yeah. And remember, I think Springs goes this weekend too. And he's allowed the most first inning runs in the league.
That's right.
And that cashed again earlier in the week. His last start too.
These numbers are, you got to get into the stuff early. Greg Peterson, VSiN.com, when he does his write-ups on the night before, does the overnight stuff, he put out A's money line plus 127 and the over 10. Over 10. It's been 11 now for hours. But betting that stuff overnight, obviously stuff's going to move.
How about the Orioles, huh?
How bad they are?
Last place. Second worst record? Come on.
Yep. We'll discuss the results from last night's playoff action, move the betting conversation along as each series progresses as well next year on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good performance by the Wolves last night. They had to have that. No Steph Curry. Out for, they think, about a good week. Now, the Dubs will get a break here if this does extend at all because there's a 4-day break in between games 5 and 6, which is uncanny, but that's when the WNBA team in San Francisco makes their home debut. Bizarre scheduling, the way it falls like that. So now, if you think the series is going to play out like it did last night, even when it shifts back to San Francisco here, as long as Curry is not playing, you can bet basically the Wolves in a sweep are minus 2.5 games at this point at higher than 2-1. You can lay a game and a half with the Wolves, and it's around minus 110. I don't know where the scoring's going to come from because as we saw last night, when Buddy Hield does not have Steph Curry for a full game and they can game plan for that, the 9 threes and the 20-plus points not exactly coming too easy for him.
The series should already be over. What they did game 1 was reprehensible. What happened? Diabolical, as Finn said, about their half-court offense and decisions they made, coming out with no energy and losing that game. That was just, they handed you a gift and you didn't take it. And to be down 23? So you can't look at this and just say...
31 points at halftime.
I know, yeah. So if they fall back into the same trap of jacking threes and not being aggressive and going to the basket, then it could be like it worked out against the Lakers. They did the same thing in Game 5 against the Lakers. Guys, the shots aren't going in. So they have so much depth and so many guys that can score, and you need a good DiVincenzo, too, that'll help out. But if I get a solid performance from Randall, which I got, and I get aggressive Ant, then it shouldn't be a series. But I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and maybe feel smelling themselves and relax a little bit. And next thing you know, we got a tight game Saturday night in the fourth quarter. Because Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy's real. And if he go off and have a big game and others get involved, but I would say expect the unexpected here. Because it's a team that it's a team from Minnesota with their history. And it's also, you could get suspensions and a fight and something could happen with Draymond and Rudy and maybe Ant gets hurt because that didn't look good when he went down either, too, if something would happen. But it's right there. It's too easy for him. You must go up 3-1 as well because Curry could come back later in the series, as you said.
Expect the unexpected. How about a Golden State-Denver Western Conference Finals? Would you like to see that?
Can you imagine these future prices that are out there? If we would do a tip jar?
That's not going to matter.
Pizza money? What? Well, imagine the big prices, Denver. They fired their coach with a week left.
Yeah.
The prices that Golden State were at, before the Butler trade, what Indiana was at in December, even early January, the Knicks going 0-10 against the big three in the league. I mean, that's definitely in play. I wouldn't call you crazy if you get a scenario like that where it's Knicks, Pacers, or even with the injuries, Warriors, Denver.
Huh.
Tonight's pivotal tonight for me. OKC up to 6.5 at one spot. Came back down. It was about 30 seconds. But I want to see. I think Denver responds here. I mean, this is.
You think they win the game?
I wouldn't be surprised. No. Number one, the zigzag's been so good. Plus, it's just I was just humiliated and embarrassed, and my star player was in foul trouble and fouled out. Now I'm complaining to the officials, which always seems to work the next game, with the belly aching and complaining. So can't play any worse. OKC also had one of the best performances in NBA playoff history, with 149 and 87 in the first half. I like the article up on ESPN.com. It's like 7 pit bulls out there with what they do defensively. Yeah, again, some of this stuff hasn't made sense. This shouldn't be competitive. Boston, New York shouldn't be competitive. It wasn't in the regular season when they played, and it wasn't for 3 quarters in the first 2 games. And all these numbers point to OKC in a blowout, not to be up 40, but certainly more reminiscent of Game 2. And they were blowing them out in Game 1, too. So
yeah, I don't think it's going to be a competitive series.
Really?
No, I think the Thunder are winning the title, yeah.
All right.
I hinted at that earlier in Do You Concur when I said we're all going to look back at this, at that Thunder price being plus money, saying, why don't we just keep betting them over and over and over again? You
have no concerns? What?
I'm more concerned about the West than I am the East. I'm convinced that they will walk over the team in the Eastern Conference.
No, I agree with that.
I don't care who it is.
That I agree with.
Their biggest problem here will be coming out of the Western Conference. I think the biggest, maybe the biggest landmine in their way would be Minnesota. But if that's the team they're going to get, because I'm with you, like Minnesota can't screw around here and let Curry back into the series. That's an all-time nightmare scenario for them. That team, they got to take them out like in 5. They got to win like the next 3 if they can, just to finish them off. But yeah, I'm intrigued by tonight's game after Denver got blown out by like they did in Game 2 for sure, and they're going back home. And I expect a good game from Murray tonight. And Joker's probably going to be Joker. Why wouldn't he be? And then will Westbrook give you 20, maybe 20 points in this game tonight? Certainly 15 is doable. That's only plus 102 to hit 15. But
yep.
Yeah, I think what they're looking at right now in the West, if they get by both those teams, then forget about it. They're winning the whole thing. They're too good. They're too deep. They got the best player this year who's going to win the MVP.
I hope you're right, and I hope it's easy, but I don't think that's going to be the case. This is a big one tonight. I want to see how Denver responds, and I actually want to see the officiating as well.
No,
what transpires in the officiating.
Here's the thing. I don't want to lay 6.5 tonight, but I think this series plays out where it's going to be OKC in no more than 6 games. Well, maybe Denver gets one more.
And it should be 2-0. Did the Cavs,
for sure.
Do the Cavs save their season for the time being?
They're not going to get my money.
Oh, how about the tax on this one?
I know.
Yeah, I know. But they blew Game 2. And if Indiana shoots 50% again from 3, that's all she wrote. But they have to do a better job defensively, and that's why I was concerned coming into this series, how bad they were against Miami. And a whole different ball game, Indiana against Miami. You're going to give these guys open looks and then the penetration. They're killing them with the penetration and what's happened in the paint and on the glass, which is a total stunner. So hello, Allen. Hello, Mobley. They got to do a better job with that as well.
Any concern from you? I brought this up to our guest earlier in the show today. I can't get the Game 5 performance against Milwaukee out of my head. The way they came out of the gates. I think they pulled up.
It was a total fluke.
Oh, no, but I think you got to credit the Bucks. Bucks played a great game.
Yeah, Doc finally had the right lineup on
Sure,
the floor.
and I think here's what I'm saying. I think the Pacers showed up to the arena that night thinking they could win with their D-plus game. Yes. And that's a horrible mentality to take. Mm-hmm. And it was a miracle how they won it late in overtime, obviously. I just hope they're not I hope they learned from that. They probably did. But I also hope that they're not like too fat and happy after going to Cleveland and stealing the first 2 games.
You're going to find out a lot about these 2 teams here. I mean, Boston won 61 games, are the champs, and Cleveland won 64. OKC won 68. Let's find out what you're made of here going on the road. 2 of them have to save their season. The other one's got to get one at least 2 to go back home 2-2. And then in the hockey, I'm looking right now, Rantanen at DraftKings is plus 230 to have 2 points. Plus 2 points. Now, again, he has had a point on 12 straight Dallas goals. Mm-hmm. And going back, hat trick and assist, goal and 3 assists, goal and 2 assists. Minus 210 to have a point, plus 110 to have an assist, plus 165 to score a goal. Now, the comeback is the Jets, who, where'd you see 360 series price? It's $3 here. Was that DraftKings?
DraftKings, yeah.
Wow. It's only $3 here. So Winnipeg's got to have it or their season's over, and then we can't wait to bet against Hellebuck on the road. But over 2.5 team total with Dallas again here, which the team total of the opponent against Winnipeg has gone over every game but one. And see if they bounce back. And then I think the Toronto...
The biggest contrarian play in sports tonight would be to bet on Hellebuck to have a shutout.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
No question.
It'd be a huge number.
Which he was great in a regular season against them, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. And I think the entire Toronto-Florida series is nuts and high scoring. 5-4, 4-3 so far. The tax on the Panthers with the must-win, as you pointed out earlier, a 260 now in some spots, okay. And then minus 150 in regulation. I think Florida wins in regulation over the team total. And I know Jonathan Davis likes Toronto over team total 2.5 on the website.
He told me.
VSiN.com. Check out he loves it. Check out his props. The Toronto team total has gone over that every game but one.
He messaged me that earlier this morning. I said, yeah, I can't get there. Good luck to you, but I can't get there. He called me a bum.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
He loves He can't get enough of it.
Okay.
He loves that play.
Sorry, I wasn't being mean. I'm just saying I can't get there, and good luck.
Smarter bets start here. Last all year long with VSiN Pro. Limited time, slashing the price of the annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. When you sign up today, get 2 extra months for free. 14 months, VSiN Pro, less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, the betting guides, the 24/7 live video, the Bulldog eating the leg. VSiN.com/subscribe. $199, get it now.
The Bulldog eating the leg. They were playing around.
I put it on Instagram.
Yeah, and he looked like he had him in a good wrestling move.
It's up there now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Leafs plus a goal and a half tonight?
No.
I'm
not a wall guy.
The number is
I'm not a wall guy
insane.
either. You are. I'm talking to our guy, Steve Cohen. He thinks maybe this is the year. He's a Maple Leafs fan. Yeah. He's seen pain and misery and nonstop as well. But they're this close. They're 2 wins away from finally getting back to the conference finals.
Would you take plus 250 on the Leafs to win the game?
No.
3-1?
No. Oh, 3-1. Okay.
You got to take a number at some point.
Maybe their offense is too good. And I'll tell you.
That's a big key.
Mike agrees. Bob's been bad. And you can beat Bob through the 5-hole, too. So, then again, it's also how they're calling this. And if it's a parade to the penalty box as well.
All right, what kind of a response do we get from the Nuggets tonight? We'll ask Chad Andrus from 104.3 The Fan in Denver next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Here at Circa, where we broadcast home every single day, the Thunder are currently a 5-point favorite tonight. Game 3 on the road against Denver. And looking at the screen, now, Paul, that number's back to 5.5 at most spots. It's been going back and forth throughout the show. Got as high as 6.5, now at 5.5. And we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line as Chad Andrus joins the program now from 104.3 The Fan in Denver to talk about this game in the series. Chad, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
My pleasure, guys. Doing great. Looking forward to see if the Nuggets have another bounce-back effort that they've become so famous for in them tonight.
Would you bet on it?
Yeah.
Now that the number is sitting there at 5.5, would you put your own hard-earned money on Denver tonight to cover the point spread?
I'm not betting it, but that would be the lean. If I were going to take it, I would take the points, especially if you had a chance to jump in when it got to the 6.5 an hour or two ago. That would be the lean. Look, this team is at their core, they are resilient and they are tough. And every time people write them off, they bounce back and do something that nobody expects them to do. And I think the one thing that's interesting about the Nuggets in particular, just as an organization, is they understand something that I think a lot of us that we relate to football wish more coaches understood, is they know that it doesn't matter how much you lose by. And obviously, when we're talking about point spreads, yes, it does for our bets, but for our coaches, for teams, it has no bearing, right? So we always criticize those coaches who are down 2 scores in the fourth quarter and they punt with 8 minutes left, right? The Nuggets understand that it doesn't matter if we lose by 1 or if we lose by 81, the series was still going to be 1-1 coming back to game 3, and it's a whole new game.
What do you expect out of the officiating and specifically how they officiate Joker?
little disappointed to see it's James Capers, Ben Taylor, Ray Acosta tonight. I don't think that is necessarily an advantage either way. I think if you're Oklahoma City, you would have loved to have seen Mark Davis, where it's no holds barred, anything goes. You can punch him in the face again. Well, and I think if you're the Nuggets, you would have loved to see Zach Zarba, who's probably the best official in the sport. I don't think the crew favors a team either way. But guys, Joker got in foul trouble because it's the age-old story of they always catch the second guy. And Oklahoma City, they have the benefit. This is the benefit of their depth in their roster, is they don't have to worry about fouls. So everybody that goes in there can just hack away and beat guys and lean on them because they know they are long and they're quick, but they're not near as strong as Jokic and Aaron Gordon in particular. So they have to get physical in ways that dares the refs to call a foul, and they know they're not going to call it every time. Even if they do call it every time, they just put in another guy off the bench that has the exact same physical profile that can go and do the same thing. Denver doesn't have the luxury to do that playing with 6.5 bodies.
Yeah, no kidding. Is it 6.5 or is it down to 5.5 now? Do we know what the hell's going to happen with Michael Porter tonight?
I think he'll probably give it a go again. They have to put him out there at least for 4 or 5 minutes to start the game. And guys, I don't think anybody expects him to make shots with his injury situation. But the thing is Oklahoma City still is not going to leave him standing alone off the off chance that he does. So he creates spacing that allows Jokic and Gordon to operate. And that's the biggest key, is it's not that he is making shots and being a threat. Yes, Denver needs that to be in the game and to win the game, but he has to be out there to create space for the other guys, because without him, they're not going to guard Christian Brown. They proved that in the last game. They're not going to guard Peyton Watson if he takes those minutes, and they're not going to guard Russell Westbrook from the three-point line.
Yep.
So Porter has to be there to space the floor for Gordon and Jokic.
Big game from Westbrook, or at least over 13.5 points?
Yeah, I think so, because you're going to have to continue to reduce the Porter minutes, and those are going to have to go to Westbrook and Peyton Watson. So I would look at those two guys as, potential any of the overs on their point totals. And then the other thing I would look at would be Christian Brown over 1.5 threes at plus money earlier today, because they left him wide open in the last game. He just didn't hit them. And I don't think Denver's winning game 2 under any circumstances. You could have put Kobe or MJ out there with them. They probably weren't going to win that game, but they did have open three-pointers early. The one that first quarter got away that they knocked down, that they keep it within shouting distance, maybe till halftime, and they just missed them all. They missed like all 6 of them, and it was primarily Christian Brown and Michael Porter. They're going to leave Christian Brown open to shoot. I think he makes 2 or more threes.
2 or more threes, okay. I said this earlier. I think Jamal Murray, it's not easy to predict, and we're trying to do this, right, in terms of props, which guys are going to go off. Not easy to predict that against this Oklahoma City defense more times than not, but I think Murray tonight, right, back home, the playoff pedigree here from this guy, he's been so good in his career in front of that home crowd, is that just all narrative here that tonight expect a big game from Jamal Murray?
Yeah, this guy is as close to the Riddler as you can get. Like, he's a total enigma. I'll probably play with fire and go under 20.5 points, but I'm going to give everybody fair warning the last time I did that, because I thought he had nothing for the Clippers, who were long and athletic and quick, much like this Oklahoma City team, much like Minnesota, who dominates him, that he just can't get free against them. The last time I bet is under 20.5, he went for 43 against the Clippers. Yeah. So, don't necessarily listen to me, but it's this physical profile of a team that is long at every position and can pressure him all over the floor the whole game with multiple bodies that he really struggles against because they wear him down and they smother him.
Well, how about the expectations for SGA tonight? I get it. Guy's going to be the MVP. He is, absolutely incredible. He can get to his spots against any team in the league. But now with his points prop, like to go over, we're expecting him to score 33 tonight. Isn't that a gigantic number here?
It is, but I will say this, just to throw a little caution at that, Mitch. When the Nuggets have beat the Thunder 3 times this year, in those wins, I think it's 120, 121, and 140. So if Denver thinks they're going to be able to score the ball and have a chance to win the game, what if they say, okay, Shea, go ahead and get 30, get 40, but we're going to lock down everybody else? Where are you getting 90 more points from? And if they take that strategy, then it's definitely in play for an over. But yes, I would have a tendency to agree with you. That's a huge ask on the road for a team that is still really trying to prove themselves and find their footing in the second round and beyond in these big matchups playing in hostile environments.
What's the future hold if they lose in 5 or 6?
I don't think they could win the championship, meaning the Nuggets, and I still don't think Michael Porter would be here. You can't continue with him on the roster. The guy makes $36 million. He provides nothing. Right? He loses 100% of 50-50 balls, and he has no athleticism. He provides nothing other than a floor spacer. Right? But the problem is he has no trade value, especially with multiple injuries that are continuing. So you're going to have to get anything in return. You're probably going to have to include Peyton Watson in a trade because you don't want to include Christian Brown. But the Nuggets are pretty much stuck in a good way with Jokic. They're not going to trade Murray because, look, you didn't trade John Stockton and Karl Malone away from each other. They didn't even win one. At least Jokic and Murray got one. They're not going to trade Aaron Gordon with his age, relying on athleticism and a new contract, and nobody else wants Russ Westbrook. So you got 4 guys there. You want to keep Christian Brown, but you have to get 2 other guys that can be rotation players when you move on from Porter. It's just whether or not you can do that without having to include Watson.
Sure. Well, that's the thing, right? Every other team in the league, if they're going to have to buy on Porter, they're going to want Christian Brown in return. They're just and they'd be dumb not to.
Yeah, and I think Peyton Watson has a lot of trade value. He's still very young and a lot of athleticism and potential. The problem the Nuggets have is Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. That's the profile of athleticism that they need to add to the roster, but those guys are going to have to go out to bring anybody else in.
So overall, how far do you think this series is going to go?
I think the Nuggets get one of these 2 at home. And I think most Nuggets fans would probably be happy if you told them right now they would take a split. But after that, it's probably 6 games. So I don't want to count Joker out in a series in fewer than 6 ever, unless I know he's lost in fewer than 6, but he had Facu Campazzo and Austin Rivers in his backcourt. So, let's be realistic about it. He's still the best player in the world. He's still basketball AI, a supercomputer, real-time problem solver. So any look you throw at him, he solves in real time and has an answer for it. I think he gets at least one more game.
Chad, you're a big basketball guy in general. Is Joe Mazzulla a good basketball coach?
No.
Thank you.
No. And I think the basketball gods are striking back, a little bit with kind of the way they play because it's not aesthetically pleasing to people who love basketball. And, you can say all you want about Knicks fans. At least they've been loyal for 54 years without winning, so I don't mind them. I'm all for New York taking out Boston. And, anytime they can do that, especially in Boston, puts a smile on my face.
There you go. You can follow Chad on X. He is at Chad Andrus and does a great job for 104.3 The Fan in Denver as well. Chad, thanks for the time today. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right, see you, fellas.
Thanks, Chad.
There you go. I'm with him. I love the Knicks fan base. They deserve it.
No doubt.
Yeah. I said earlier today, I just don't want to see the Knick fanboy media come out. Don't need to see that.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Too many, I would say.
Can we end both of these? The Knicks haven't made it since 2000. Toronto, 2002. That's conference finals. 2000, the Knicks. They were there every year.
I know.
When the run they had with Ewing and...
That's right.
25 years.
So that was definitely the strike year, right? And then they got blasted by Tim Duncan. And they were the 8th seed, too, I think.
I think you're right.
All right. In Pocket Plays, we will tell you all of the bets that we made for tonight and beyond coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Was on coke if his girlfriend was not done.
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
It's been a fun ride, a good run. You knew the regression was coming, and it happened. BGK first period over. I get 9 goals in the game. Can't get the first period over. The guy hit the crossbar with a minute left. And it was tough. Freeman over total bases. He had a base hit early. That's it. And then he had the walk. Stone, nothing. Over 1.5 shots on goal. No good as well. Pacers to win the East, 19-1. Tatum, most points in the Knicks series, $1.25.
Wow, where's he at with that now?
Yeah, he's been bad. This was no good either. Curry with the injury. Obviously, most threes in the series. Stars minus 1.5 games against the Jets, $1.10. Looking good. Panthers to win in regulation tonight. Panthers team total over 3.5. Dallas team total over 2.5. Everyone's gone over against Hellebuck in the playoffs but one. Hurricanes, Stars, exacta, 11-1. That was before last night. Taking the 6 tonight with Denver. Golden Knights, Golden Knights, Oilers first period over again tomorrow. Love this. Keep riding this. Anderson under 21.5 saves tomorrow, Carolina. Logan Thompson over 27.5 saves. That game's tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific. I don't see how Washington's going to be able to sustain and get an offensive attack going that would get that many shots. And I think it's going to be a blitzkrieg the other way.
Blitzkrieg.
Hurricanes to win in regulation. League 2. I'm with my guy, Meatman. Implosion by Walsall down the stretch. They had an 8-point lead at one point with a game in hand and couldn't even get promotion. Automatic promotion or win the league. Now they're in the playoffs and they're taking on Red Hot Chesterfield and the Bradford City goal when they celebrated on the pitch.
Yep.
That was Walsall knocked them out.
Wow.
That was knocked Walsall out in this Sunday League 2 playoffs leg 1. Let's go with Chesterfield. Freddie Freeman over 1.5 total bases. Right back with it. He's been good to us. He's hitting .469 with 18 RBIs during the 13-game hitting streak. Career against Rodriguez, he's 6 of 12 with a bomb. Dane Myers, 2 hits, plus 310. 2 total bases, plus 160. Plays for Miami. He's hitting .450 in his last 9 games.
Jesus.
There we go. Hardcore. Deep cut.
Oh, I love it. All right, this goes back a couple days now. Freddie Freeman over 1.5 bases. Yeah, that was a winner. Tigers first 5. That was actually I think that one was a push. That was a push. The Caruso got me. The Caruso props got me the other night from the blowout. Played 9 minutes. Never even put him back in the game. And team total, I had 2 pushes that day. One was the Tigers first 5. The other one was the Panthers team total over 3 minus 118. Pending Soto MVP in the NL, 20-1. Tigers most wins in May, 16-1. Scooble, by the way, looked great in the first.
Carved them up.
Yeah, I went to bet the Nerfy. Too late. Game already started. So as for tonight, Giants in the money line, minus 105 against the Twins. I like Hicks. His ERA, I think, is misleading. The underlying numbers, like the xERA and the FIP, much better. And the Giants have a gaudy record. They're the best record in baseball against righties. Although their numbers against righties don't really blow you away, this is more of a fade against Chris Paddock. I'm not a big believer in Chris Paddock. So at minus 105, I think the number was right to play the Giants there. Also on Stephen Kwan, over 1.5 total bases. He is batting .440 with 2 doubles, 4 walks, and 5 runs scored in his last 6 games. He's only faced Nola once, so that doesn't mean much, but he's 3 for 3 with a home run. And I also tailed Adam Burke on this today with his breakdown on vsin.com, which was superb as always. I bet Kwan to score a run tonight at plus 120. There will be other lefties in the lineup behind him if he gets on base, and lefties hit Aaron Nola quite well. So there's a good angle there, in my opinion. And also doing same game parlay. Well, not same game, but I'm doing a parlay tonight. I'm going to go Freeman and Witt over 1.5 total bases at plus 227.
Take some Rantanen props, too. Come on. Guy's on an all-time heater. 2+ points is plus 2. What, no?
I'm going Hellebuck shutout tonight.
Right. Let me see what that is. I got to look at that now that you brought it up.
If it's 50-1, I'm going to bet it.
Really?
I don't think it'll be 50-1, but...
you want 20?
Is it 20-1?
No, I'm just saying he's not having a shutout. I got to find it.
So you're saying you booked my action?
Will you hurry up? 7-1.
7-1
to win by shutout.
Oh, good Lord! Come on, give me a break.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. No, I'm not betting that.
NBA playoffs are heating up. Our partner Profit X offering the best odds all playoffs long. Profit X peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40+ states. You'll be able to make your picks against other groups of fans rather than against sports books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today. Code VSIN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Go get it. Profit X.
All right, let's break out the home run tracker here as well. The shame I was off yesterday. I had a couple of losers, but I also did have Ohtani with a nice bet last night. There we go. Love the Oregon guys. And Ohtani got there in the ninth inning. I couldn't believe it. So here's what we're doing tonight. Cal Raleigh, plus 325, and Jorge Polanco, plus 410. Kevin Gossman, he's only allowed 4 home runs on the year. However, Cal Raleigh in his career, 5 of 11, 3 home runs, a 21.5% barrel rate on the year. He pulls 60% of the hits that he has, and he's a 37.6% fly ball guy. Gossman is a fly ball pitcher, and Raleigh has 9 of his 12 home runs against righties so far on the year. And Polanco, all 9 home runs are against righties, 7 are at home. Extremely good numbers when you look at average exit velocity, hard hit rate, WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging, barrel rate as well. So I'm on both those guys in that game. I had to bet Schwarber because of the number.
Have to.
First of all, Gavin Williams, too, kind of stinks this year for the Guardians.
Yeah.
But Schwarber is never plus 450 to hit a home run. That was available today at BetMGM. So there is this. He's from Ohio. Hit his first home run ever in his career against Cleveland back in this ballpark. And he has really good numbers in this park as well. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 14 runs with a 333, 420, 583 slash line. And I got to ride Ohtani. He's hot. Yeah. I got to keep going. And I plus 280 again. He's sometimes below 2-1. And Rodriguez goes tonight for the Diamondbacks. He has allowed 7 home runs on the year. So at that number, plus 280, got to take Ohtani. He's been good to me this week. So doing it one more time.
Buxton plus 330. And what's the lowest you've ever seen on someone? Judge's plus 160 tonight.
He's close.
Wow.
He's close to that range. I don't recall what Judge and Ohtani were late last year. Ohtani must have been in the plus 150 range when he was that hot down the stretch.
And against a lousy team, bad pitcher. All right. I don't mind Kike Hernandez 5-1 either. He also has good numbers against Rodriguez.
That's right. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
What's the worst possible NHL Stanley Cup?
Carolina, Dallas. Another reason why I bet it.
Would it be? What about Winnipeg and Carolina?
I got no problem with that.
You love that?
Yeah. Can Hellebuck do it? Can Canada do it?
That would not be very friendly to the ratings. Would not be good for that one.
No.
What about the worst NBA finals? You give me Pacers against anybody, I'm in. They play exciting basketball.
Yeah. From an NBA standpoint, Adam Silver is going to Hoover Dam if it's Indiana,
Minnesota,
Denver, or Indiana, Minnesota. Indiana, Denver, and probably Indiana, Minnesota. Because Denver, at least you have the Joker.
If it's Oklahoma City out of the West, who do you want to see them play in the East?
I want to see him kick Boston's ass.
So do I. I want to see that be a 5-game series. I want Boston to beg for mercy in the series.
Yeah,
I want that series to play out like 2014, the revenge tour for the Spurs when they got revenge on the Heat. And it was never a series. And LeBron's at the free throw line, looks over, my God, Kawhi's coming back into the game right now. You got to be kidding me. And it was beautiful basketball by San Antonio, and they put on an entire clinic to get that title. That was awesome.
All right. So you're back Wednesday for the unveiling of the NFL schedule.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple of days off here.
Give me a hot take.
On the schedule, we're going to get far too many primetime games for teams that don't deserve it. And I can't wait to see which teams are going to be playing on Christmas Day. The 3 teams, and how are they going to balance that schedule now? It's on Thursday this year.
Uh-huh.
But what, do you have a hot take? Can you have a hot take on the schedule?
I'm going to see what they stick it to, though. The net rest disadvantage and something like that.
How many primetime games will the Bears get?
Oh, good call. A plethora.
I'll say 5 or 6.
I don't have a problem with it.
Will we get more Cowboys primetime games or Jets primetime games?
Oh, come on. What, are you serious?
Oh, I'm dead serious.
Oh, come on.
We'll get 4 for each. Oh, yeah.
No, they'll load up Dallas.
They'll load up the Jets. Or Giants. Giants. For sure.
With that motley crew of quarterbacks?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Come on, it happens. Pittsburgh.
They were terrible.
With Mason Rudolph, how many Steelers primetime games? 5? Stay tuned. Primetime's next.
Have fun.
Good luck with the bets tonight. Enjoy the weekend.